session.
You're recording.
Okay, today is Wednesday, March 15th, and it is now 10:02. We're going to go ahead and start a work session for Trinidad's Historic Preservation Commission. And I do think I'll ask you to call roll for the record. Chris, if you would, please.
Okay, Delicio.
Present.
And Shirley. Here. Elizabeth.
Here.
And we have Derek.
Here.
And Carlos.
Here.
Thank you. So we have, I think, just two items on our agenda. And we talked a little bit about before the meeting started, that if we could say where we are with the consideration of application of proposed Article 14, Historic Preservation Review Standards. Chris, can you give us an update on that?
Yeah, according to Michael Yerman, our intentions are to take everything related to historic preservation that is existing in the code and put it all under one article. And if it's a possibility, incorporate the architectural review into our current code. And that would probably have to go up for vote or consideration by planning and zoning, and then acceptance by city council to incorporate that component. I've heard from Danielle Rollo unofficially that has been shut down before. That's why it's not included in our current code. But I personally will try to do some more research and find out the exact details of what happened in that hearing. And Keely is going to be, she's working on a contributing and non-contributing map for the buildings that exist in the core zone district. And once we identify those, we'll have a more perfect plan to have a architectural review process. And then we can take the documents that we've all been working on, those architectural review documents, application and process, and incorporate them into the article that exists.
Does that include then the certificate of appropriateness that we were working on?
Yes.
Okay. So you kind of want to do that all at the same time? Is that what you're saying?
That's our intention.
Okay. And otherwise, sorry.
Otherwise, will we put just what we worked on to approve it as modified on our next meeting?
Well, the process of approval is the question.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
can Michael take that into his considerations and changes and incorporate it there? I don't know. It's a big endeavor, and I hate to ask him to do it, but it really needs to be done. So we hope that that's what can happen with that article in total. They can just accept it, and we can propose the changes, like in red or whatever, and they go, okay, these are changes that need to be incorporated into the code.
But until that gets done, we need to still approve what we modified?
Yeah, we'll just have to do our process
Right.
as according to the state, I would guess.
Right.
Would that be right?
Yeah.
And go that route. But it would be nice to have something official that we could follow to a T and not have to do workarounds, because takes more time and effort on our part.
If you'd like, we could maybe have an internal memo. And sorry, I don't mean to speak out of turn. If that's all right.
No, please. Yeah.
There may be a way that we could do an internal memo and say this is our interim process while we draft the official process. So it could be like an interim thing that the city uses to administer it. If the commission's amenable to that, something like that. just so it's in writing, you know?
Right, yeah. No,
I'd like
what
to
do you
see
guys
it
think about that?
To me, because I want to see the recommendations that you added to that, you know, to have a final copy.
Well, I think if I'm hearing correctly, so we're just talking about doing a interim process that would be more like a policy and procedure on an interim basis.
Yeah, with the understanding that we have a formal procedure that would be adopted by council, but in the interim, kind of more of an internal memo type thing. So we all understand what
Right,
the
that's
process is.
That would be really
We
helpful.
can kind of memorialize it even if it's just temporary.
Right.
I think we could do that pretty easily.
Carlos, comments?
No, I think that's perfect. I mean, I think that's even better than what we could hope for
Okay.
right at this moment. I mean, we're hoping that it gets passed the way that we want it, because that's our control. I mean, that's the way that we have.
And we don't.
I mean, I believe, I know we don't.
Far.
I don't want to be like the God person over all these buildings, but at the same time, I feel like we are here to lend a kind of a word and kind of be the advocate for the building and for the architecture and for the history of it. I mean, that's our position. So without having that advocacy, then all these buildings are just going to continually get torn down
Appreciate your
and not
comments.
used.
I have a
Yeah.
question.
Let me check with Derek first,
Okay.
and then we'll go to Shirley.
Okay.
Do you have any comments? Shirley?
I was wondering what Miss Llewellyn, what she thought about the certificate of appropriateness and
Lindsay?
et cetera.
Lindsay from-
She hasn't gotten access yet, right?
Yeah, and she didn't do an official review. When I asked her about it, she gave us a CLG book to follow, and when I gave it to Michael, he was like, "That's what I'm following."
Right,
So
that's kind of what we
it's
use.
kind of like, okay, we were already doing what we need to do, but I'm still waiting for Lindsay to give us that call, that update of her visit that she promised.
And one other comment, I think the interim idea is really a good idea,
Yeah.
so that we have something to follow.
Yeah, and Commissioner Shirley, we could maybe just, when we have the memo, and I'm sure Elizabeth Kelly will appreciate this, but we could have a little disclaimer on there that like we're following the state.
That
You know,
makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
conservation
definitely
rules,
to
and then we're
reference
gonna mirror
whatever.
those, and so if anything, if people have any issues about our process, our temporary process, we can just point to the state and say, this is the way the state does it, and we'd like to follow in the same manner.
Yeah.
So when you guys are referring to the CLG handbook, or what are you referring to exactly?
It's something developed by History Colorado to help CLGs develop, like
So it's sort of
from
a
the
how-to
beginning.
guide?
Yes,
And you
It's
have
like-
that?
quite extensive. It's like
Okay.
36 pages or something.
Oh,
But
okay.
it's more of a guide for CLGs that are just starting.
Mhm.
We're way advanced, and
We should be.
yeah, so it's not. I mean, it could still help us out
Yeah.
in formation of an architectural review, because that's the only thing that I see that we're lacking.
Is that a print guide or?
Yes, I'm gonna drop it into your folder if that's okay.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
everyone
No,
can-
really.
can look
I
at
have
it.
trouble getting into your folder.
Okay. We'll figure. I'll work with it at the end of the meeting, and we'll figure it out. I'll make sure I get the right email for you so that.
So let's, for the record, explain what folder we're referring to.
Oh, that's and I guess we can make this, since we all are available to. Man, I guess this is something.
I don't
we
know
gotta
what the
talk
arrangement
about.
was, so I am asking for a little clarification
Yeah,
about
so
that.
I set up a folder within my own personal Google Drive for the History Preservation Commission, where we can kind of share documents. The only thing we've ever shared on there is public documents, such as photos of buildings, some of the historical surveys that have been done on these buildings, the historical survey full paper that was drafted for the 2001 and 2002 surveys. So there's really nothing private or
But
nothing
that
that's
lives
not.
on your Google Drive,
Yeah,
but that's not a city.
that's what I'm saying. Like,
Or
so
not
I
city
don't
charter
know
drive.
if that's something we can change or if there's something available that we can use.
Yeah, I'm trying to
For
get
city.
something accessible for everyone. If there's a drive that we can share, like on the city side, that we could share to the commission, that's what I
Yeah.
just want something for public
Even, I mean,
access, private.
even all the stuff that's on the drive, we can easily just post on the page.
Yeah, but
But
still run into a problem with the public not accessing
Yeah, well, I know.
our folder.
I know, and
And
that's
them
why
saying, hey, well, we don't know if this is everything.
Well,
the stuff that we got to post and that's available to the public is the stuff that we're referencing within
We,
the
as
meeting.
long as we can make it available to the public.
Yeah.
So if we just
I'm
have a
fine with
disclaimer
that.
on our website that says, we have a reference folder, that we've, assembled, from public resources, and it's available upon staff request or something like that.
Mhm.
I think we could just have
That's
a
fine by me.
one-word blurb.
Yeah, and whoever wants to have access to it, they just need to email us
Oh,
do
or
you
email
want
me.
to continue to use Carlos?
Yes, so, I'm new here, so I don't know exactly what the protocol is, but I personally don't see any issue, with using a Google Drive. So, especially if it's, supposed to be made available to the public.
Yeah, anybody needs access to it, I
Yeah.
don't mind letting.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I
anybody
would say is
know
it's
that.
kind of a burden on Carlos, because if it gets too big, then he's
Yeah.
gonna have to
That's what
start
I'm-
paying for it. So maybe we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I can try to make something available on our OneDrive, and then send the link out to everyone and see if we can get access to it. Does the commission have a preference?
Would
No.
rather go with the OneDrive.
Yeah, I
You'd
mean,
rather go with
whatever
that? Okay.
is gonna be the most helpful and work the best, I mean.
Okay.
I just wanted to set that up because there was a lot of
No doubt,
resources we had, and I
I
didn't wanna
totally get that
bring
you
this.
did, why you did that.
Pieces of paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, so-
Yeah, and it's really appreciated because there's a lot of good stuff. I just wondered about the logistics.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
we kind of need
exactly.
to.
Yeah, and I
Good questions,
reached
yes.
that size limit, and they do get very aggressive with the charges.
Okay,
So,
well, I pay for my
Especially
drive,
photos.
so
Oh, you
Oh, you
do?
do,
I do, but it's because I use it for my own stuff, so
So
it's
just
not a
to
big deal. It's not a big
recap,
deal.
so what I can do for the next meeting, is set up a OneDrive with the reference material. We can transfer the
Yeah,
reference
you can
material
just
on
leave
it,
it
and
all
then
in.
communicate with our website development, which is either Nisa or Desi, and then ask them to please put a disclaimer on it and to reach out to either Chris or myself for access.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's perfect.
And yeah, that would be great, and I think we can really, make this into a really good thing for the public, obviously to say, because, you put, I think there's reference to the original historic district plan, all the Ken Fletcher documents. These are things that we want people to see and read, right? So if we could maybe do an announcement even when we do get this set up, something on Facebook or website, here you go, this is how you access it.
Yeah.
Maybe in conjunction with the library, though I don't know how that would work, but we want to collaborate with them and
Okay.
make sure we're good with it.
just to add a note, that was one of our requirements of the CLG, is to have public documents either on our website or have public access to important documents.
There you go.
Could that,
So, we would satisfy that requirement.
we are far advanced.
Yes, we are. We just anticipate what we need to do next.
It's like a bumper sticker. Okay, anything else on that item? Okay, thank you guys. So we have a lot to talk about. 1B is planning for the Echoes of History event. So, but before I do that, I'm forgetting, I do want to just really thank the Planning Development Department, but especially Chris, for her work on this quadrennial review, which I know was substantial. And thank you for walking through that and getting us hopefully where we need to be. So lots of work, but thank you.
You're welcome. And did we ever give Keely a official welcome?
Like a kiss on the forehead?
I think I did get a welcome.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think
did.
it's planning and zoning that we haven't.
We haven't introduced you
Yeah, they're
yet.
like, who's this Keely? So you have been introduced.
That was me last week too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like,
For better or for worse.
The History Colorado lady. I was like, who is she?
There's Lindsay.
Lindsay, yeah, we should get to know her pretty well.
And one other thought
CG rep.
But that's not a bad thing, right? To get to know her.
on Ave, I'm sorry, just to back up for a sec, is I wonder at some point when it seems appropriate or we're ready, if there could be a joint work session with City Council, with Historic Preservation and Planning and Zoning, maybe even TURA, the Urban Renewal Authority. And I know that's a lot, maybe it's too much, but to break down and sort of see if we're going to do a new chapter 14, if that's the plan, how do we work together? How, you know, I think we don't interact in any kind of meaningful way, it seems like. And maybe I'm missing something on that, but I think it's, and I would also request that we have maybe an annual work session with City Council, just so we know, they know what historic preservation is doing and that we're coordinating as best we can, so.
I think that it might be great timing to do that, just because we have the new Chapter 14 coming out. They're going to need to vote on it, and it would be nice if they knew what everybody knew what they were looking at.
Yeah.
So maybe sooner rather than later.
Get a better introduction to it instead of just being it brought to them and being like, okay, now we got to consider this right now. Like, we haven't even thought of what's your intentions or what are the intentions.
Right.
If we could clarify that, and then we like, you know, like, is this good? Should we think about something else? Should we change something here?
Well, are we going to have a chance to review those changes at some point ahead or
Yeah, I
somewhere?
would say once we have the draft ready to go, which it's probably not going to be in the next month, I would think, but maybe, maybe, you never know.
We're pretty close.
Pretty far along, probably waiting on me because of the map, but.
Because that's a lot to process, and I would definitely think that we would need time to read that individually.
Thinking out loud, but it could be a component of our area-wide planning, because we do have to, don't we have to have a person individual from this commission?
I don't think I listed anyone from this commission on
Okay.
that, but I could, actually. It might not be a bad idea to do that.
But yeah, we might
someone
have
be
a
representative. Maybe you're right.
consideration.
Maybe you're right.
But that might bring us all together in a public meeting. I don't know, I'm just thinking outside
Yeah.
the box as to how the area-wide planning is going to come together, because all of the groups will have to come together under a.
Well, I understand, so instead of just saying we want to have a work session, maybe it's in the lens of this is an area-wide planning effort that incorporates everyone, and so historic preservation is obviously a big piece of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we have, by the way, we have a new chapter 14 coming up that everyone should be aware of.
Yes.
Thank you.
So
Yeah, that would be
keep
great.
that in mind.
We'd really like to be at the table whenever it's appropriate, so.
Okay.
Okay, I think we're going to just turn this show over to Ms. Delicio, and she's going to walk us through everybody have a work plan?
The work plan, but, yeah, good. So we'll just go minute by minute, start with
The second or
June 3rd is our fourth. June 3rd is the Saturday, right? Saturday, June 3rd is our Saturday at the Commons area, and we have booked the Commons at 8:30. If we go across the session, it's going to be registration. I have SS and Shirley and KH Chris Hall for the registration block. and that's at Space to Create. With really, I didn't put any dollars there. And the sign-in sheet, we're developing, and name tags, and a meal voucher ticket. So those are the three things that will be at our registration. If you see anything that you want me to add, let me know, and I will be the master keeper of this chart that Elizabeth so graciously drew up and so colorful. And then the other, if they want to be a member of getting our newsletter, I thought that would be a good way to start our newsletter, that we may have a one-page newsletter, so they would sign up.
This commission would have a newsletter?
Yeah, I think that would be kind of interesting, or once a month, or just, I've seen other commissions or other historical preservation, just have a little newsletter that could be a summary of all that we vote on, I'm not sure. And then we are getting a tour map, we are getting maps, so Elizabeth had that question. Does anybody have any questions about 8:30? Can we think of anything to incorporate at the beginning? Then at 9 o'clock, we have the introduction and welcome by Mayor Rico, and I put, Elizabeth's going to introduce the mayor. I also put, who is CR? I thought it was, Creative District and Main Street, I'm thinking. Who was CR? I can't remember. But Elizabeth and I will coordinate that, but I thought we should have Historic Main Street. Oh, CR is Chris Russell, but she's now Chris Frank, I think. Or Krista Frank. Is she okay? Krista Frank, and who's ever in charge, Marilyn Lutzler of District, because they've agreed to be co-sponsors, so I thought they should be welcoming the mayor, and Elizabeth should welcome them. And that would be on our stage area, and that's why I have to contact those board chairs for Main Street and this Creative District. And if we have any other joint sponsorship, so it would be Historical Preservation, Historic Main Street Board, Creative District Board, and any co-sponsors. City of Trinidad, Steve, it should also be there. Then as this panel has already taken a little drift, but 9:50 to 10:45
Wait, what about 9:15?
Oh, 9:15, keynote, we got a big keynote. Well, that's not gonna be Lindsay, right? Because you said there was somebody else that wanted to, where was somebody else?
Well, this is under development.
That's
so
under
we're kind
development.
of trying to figure out if we could, via staff, invite History Colorado to come and do our opening, and actually Don DePrince, who's their executive director, is from Pueblo, and I think has a...
What's her name again?
Don DePrince,
Don DePrince.
D-I-P-R-I-N-C-E. So I don't know if that's something you all can do on our behalf we can talk more about what we're wanting. I think just, a broader perspective about historic preservation from the state would be awesome. And then Calvin Smith is the professor from the college that we talked about previously. And we were kind of we want someone who's very to open, who's dynamic and engaging and has a good, feel for the area.
Who is,
So we're still going to
what
tweak.
happened to Lindsay?
Pardon?
What happened to Lindsay?
Well, we want Lindsay to talk about
The roundtable at the store.
about landmarking.
In this.
Okay.
Yeah, so it would be actually two people. It would be Don DePrince, if possible, to do just a short
15 minutes, right?
welcoming, and I'm not sure I want to focus more specifically on what we would ask her to focus on. Do you all have a, Carlos, based on the conference, for instance? There was just so much good stuff at the Saving Places conference, it's hard to roll it into one thought.
Yeah, I think just the presenting of, the importance of landmarking, of
The what?
just the landmarking your building, I think that's a big thing that we are still struggling with, is having a lot of our either locally or state landmark buildings in the area, whereas we have tons of buildings here that have that ability to do that. So I don't know, I think just just talking about the importance of preservation and what it means, what it doesn't mean.
Right, and I think, help me remember too, Carlos, so Don talked about this effort, the 150-year anniversary of Colorado. So this was one
Oh,
of the
yeah,
main
the
things.
statehood is coming up.
Yes, and then
Yeah.
the state has a goal of, is it landmarking?
Oh, yeah, how many, like a bunch
150.
of different, yeah, 150 different.
Oh, yeah,
That's right,
150 landmarks.
right.
Maybe they
Yeah.
could talk about that.
And we could have our
Yeah.
goal with 100 buildings or something.
So maybe
Wow.
that's a broad enough sort of,
Mhm.
initiative that we could ask her to talk about that, Chris. So I don't know if you guys can email her.
Yeah. I
And I think
reach out to Dawn
And
DePrince.
then I'm
Also,
sorry, I don't
they're
want
like-
to get us off track.
Their focus, I'm sorry, Jean,
No, go ahead.
their focus is the, maybe Dr. Biber, because they have the focus this year, I think last year was indigenous, but this year it's the, help me with all the letters.
LGBT.
Yes.
LGBTQIA plus.
Yes,
Say that.
that's their
Rolls off
focus
the
this year. They may
don't know
want
those
to, they may
Use
letters.
that term a lot.
want to focus, so would it be okay if they did either one of those?
I think it would be great if she could do both. If she could kind of talk about this statewide initiative, if anybody has any thoughts. And then maybe an add-on could be looking at, this
You got it.
possibility of landmarking a cultural district, aka Dr. Bieber's
Dr. Beaver's.
residence and
Residence.
practice and how that might look. But
Yeah.
I think that might be a smaller part of her
Yeah,
talk, but at least she could mention it. But this big initiative, I think, would be something everyone could be excited about.
exactly.
I'm not sure about
Just
the
kind
other
of
one.
like a state goal where everybody can kind of participate.
Yeah.
So,
The main thing I really think they need to focus on the monetary benefits to these landowners.
exactly.
What is the monetary and economic benefits?
Yeah.
How do you get
You're
those?
true. This is
They
very
have to
true.
see it as a benefit and an
Exactly.
incentive.
Well,
Because
we're
that's
hoping.
where a lot of people don't realize those economic benefits. And
Right.
until I actually saw it, and I was like, oh my God, that's actually a lot.
Mhm.
It's not nothing, it's quite a bit. And the ability to like sell those credits to other
That's
people if
right,
you
right.
want to, because
Yeah,
they have that
that's amazing.
ability. It's awesome.
Do we have, would we be interested in having somebody from OEdit down to
What's
explain?
that?
Office of Economic Development for us at the state level, they would be able to explain that tax credit.
That might
Not
piece.
not be bad.
Yeah, that's the part I don't quite get.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
That's
and I mean,
amazing.
I could do it too. I
Well,
could
that's a good
present,
idea. That's a good idea.
because
Could
I've
you do
done
that?
like,
Would
yeah.
that be in the landmarking breakout session for you to?
Where is our land? Oh, that's so that's at the 11 o'clock hour. I don't know if you guys can see that. We do have this local landmarking.
cues.
And so that could be,
Yeah,
It would
that'd
be
good to have.
in,
Would that be Dawn DePrince?
Don
Tom
Prince would
is
be
up
up
here.
here at the intro welcome that we're still kind of
Just
massaging.
incorporating these things into.
Yeah.
how-tos, okay. Yeah, if you'd like to add me, I can do a presentation on tax credits. And
That would be
How they work.
wunderbar.
That would be awesome.
yeah, I need to do it anyway because we have so many historic buildings in the city, and so we have to go over the structure and how it works for municipalities. So if you really, really want to nerd out on it, we can go deep. We can talk about the legal aspects, accounting aspects of it.
Sure.
Calvin, would you explain Calvin Smith more about his bridge is archaeology to architecture. How does archaeology weave in with architecture?
Yeah.
I think that's his forte.
Right.
Sounds great.
He's
Yeah, of course, from the archaeologists.
It's a big topic.
I want to hear it.
And maybe, we still have to kind of figure out how that, connects. But
Connects.
yes,
Right, isn't that what we asked
He'll
him?
tell us.
yes. But I need to talk to him.
You're jealous.
Okay,
Cool.
so go ahead, Jean. sorry.
Okay, then is that cool about the 30-minute for the keynote speakers? And then at 9:50, after a 5-minute break, the then and now panel was Fox West with Gregory Friesen, and we changed the second guy to the Shannon
Palmer.
Palmer, who is the archivist. So Shannon Palmer would be the,
No.
but then, he is the archivist. They just put out several Facebook videos about findings in the Fox Theater, and Gregory Friesen is the head CSNA architect. And the moderator we had is Ed Eisman, because he is the president of First National Bank, and he actually has a wrap and wrap building, which is, that he restored himself. He didn't even, I found out that I guess he never even got the tax credits for that, but he's restored that building, so I thought
So
he might
many
be a
people
good
make that
balancing
mistake.
act. And then, so our notes are to agree on the topics and the questions that we send to these presenters. And I think if you guys give it, Elizabeth and I, and if you want any input, give us your input, but we need to send out letters pretty soon to these presenters to, don't you think, Elizabeth, or to get them sort of
Yeah, well,
prepared?
that was my other sort of, laundry list or bullet for coordinating with Anissa. And that is, that if she can, so we can be consistent on all our outreach materials. So that would be one of the tasks. And again, just needing clarification from y'all if that's appropriate to ask her, or if this is Chris and Keely to send. And basically, it would be just a form email that we would put together. We can draft it up and say, "Dear presenter, thank you so much for coming. Here's your time, and you're here to confirm your topic. If you have any questions," just something that's standardized for each person. We don't have a ton of people that were, well, I guess the list is getting pretty long. But
Yeah, Commissioner Kelly, we can definitely assist with that, and I think it might help with Anissa's office. I think sometimes there's like a disconnect because their office has certain goals and our commission has certain goals, and so I would love to be the one to help just like kind of, just branch the communication a little
Yeah.
bit on that,
Yeah.
because it's after the past day or two, I've realized we're all kind of saying the same thing, but it's just like getting lost. So I was like, all right, let's just send it through me for now, and then
Okay.
once if that's all right with y'all.
oh,
No,
sure,
it's-
that makes
I
great
think it's better
sense.
to have a City of Trinidad Gov,
Yeah.
email instead of a personal from
Yeah.
us,
Right.
because it could get lost, it could get spammed or whatever.
Yeah.
Is there a list of
I have
speakers
a-
that you have?
And you had part of that list too. You have that email list that you created
Right.
for the
Mine has
project.
emails on it, but.
But
I
I
just-
can work with you to get that list updated,
Yeah.
because it keeps changing, but we don't want to change after today if possible, because it's 2 months away and people need to
What?
budget.
Wait, if you think it is really
June
far
is not
away.
far. It's the 1st of June. I mean, it's
Don't
only April
get
and
us
May.
That's
upset.
right, that's right.
Stressed out.
I mean, we can modify things, but
Reality hits.
Headache, just got a headache.
No.
So yeah, I just need a formal list of,
Okay. I'll
and
look
I
at
may
your-
have some of them
yeah, you have some of them.
that we can incorporate and get this letter.
And if maybe you could come up with the
Yeah.
language for the email,
Yeah.
and I'm just, when we say letter, again, I'm just thinking email, because that's the way we communicate, right? Mostly, I don't know if we send letters to
We
I
send
don't
people
mind
anymore.
sending on letterhead. We
I
can do
like the
an
letterhead
attachment.
Plus,
That way they can
Whatever,
print it
I'll
out.
defer to the form, that's fine,
Yeah.
whatever you think, but
Maybe we could attach this, once we get this lined out, a
that would be a
formal
good idea.
schedule
Mhm.
for them to
Yeah.
have.
Mhm. Yeah, and if that can all be coordinated
right.
between Chris and Anissa, is that what
Yeah,
we're
I'm
saying?
not sure what's in Anissa's wellhouse as far as what her, I know she,
I think that we can, as long as we maybe send us a draft of the letter,
Yeah.
either Chris or I, we will put it on letterhead, make it look nice, send it out for one more technical review.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
nothing we need to approve, I don't think, but just technical. And then we'll have Anissa distribute to, or maybe Chris distribute to the list.
Yeah,
How's that sound?
that's a good concept.
When do you think, so what's your
Okay.
timeline?
Well, let's see.
When do you think we need to get
I can
these
get it
out?
to you by next week. I mean, it's just a form that we need to,
Perfect.
yeah, I'll get it to you by next week.
We'll get some-
And then we can review it at our April meeting too, that we sent these out, and you'll see the list. So I think that Greg Friesen prefers to have a separate session on his own because he wanted to really evolve that Fox Theater. So we were thinking of dividing this into 2 places, if that's okay with everybody. I haven't talked to Paul Glenn yet, but I did find Jeff Montoya, who was a former student at East Street School, so he would be the then. He graduated kind of with my daughter, a little bit older. He's the guy that's the picket wire media, and he also does the Coaltown band, Coaltown Union band. So and I've asked him to submit a bid for us for the videography. But he is actually a really dynamic speaker, and his family's been here. So I couldn't get any teachers to show up that I asked them.
Good job on that.
Teachers,
That's awesome.
They didn't want to do it, so I think we'll have 2 places.
Our
We're gonna.
surveyors attended East Street too.
Who's that?
Oh, gosh, you're gonna ask me.
If anybody knows names of people.
Nate
Mm.
next door.
He's a surveyor for the city.
Yes.
EADEN.
Yeah, but.
Oh, if we
very
already have
young.
one person, let's,
One's
I mean,
enough,
because
yeah.
time's, daylight's burning, as they say, so.
And I
Just
put in
for
there
backup.
$500 for those honorariums, but I know Greg doesn't want an honorarium, but I don't know about Paul Glenn. And I don't know if we can pay honorariums to these people that are being presenters of $250. So that's a big question, and maybe we can discuss that later after you go through the format.
Okay. So just to be clear, the then and now segments from 9:50 to 10:45 are not going to be, they're going to be in different rooms
Going on at the same time.
going on, so it's really, these are actually breakouts.
So we might need another moderator
So we need to
for that.
do the drill down to where they're going to be and who's going to moderate, but I think this is enough for now that we're going to
Yeah.
do 2 separate rooms,
Right.
presentations. Okay, cool.
Then 10:45 to 11 is a 15-minute break, and we're still evolving this. If we're going to use the Folklore of Legends banners that we have, but we will have an exhibit room. I'm projecting about 10 exhibit tables with 20 people, and I'll go through that when we have the budget. It's in our grant. And I was trying to get Allison Shoemaker to help us coordinate that. I haven't talked to her yet, but since you know her, she's the R. Mitchell. And we need feedback on this with Kalita Shedrick coordinating our little fashion show, our folklore game. The idea was to have people dress up and really know these characters, these 12 banners that we created for the city of Trinidad back in 2015. It was a commission by the tourism board. So I brought, you saw them, I have 12 banners, and we would have these decorating the actual sitting area where they have the seats and around the commons area. And the people we would recruit for the fashion show would be people that would dress in their legendary character, and they would know about this legend. And we're still evolving this. If you think it's a good idea to use this as our centerpiece, sort of formal.
Do you know the width of it? Is it like
It's about 3.
3
Well, I
foot?
have a steel
Right.
beam.
Well, I'm just wondering because I know you asked me about trying to find some kind of stand, and I
Stand.
meant to go look and meet you. I still haven't gone, but I'm gonna go.
2 of them stand on one. I had some PVC pipe stands, but they were disqualified. But I have a metal bar that goes for 2 of them, so there would be actually 6 only of these. 6 stands with 2 sides, 2 banners on each side. And then the people would have a game to play, would have to go to these characters, and we would ask them to fill out this quiz based on the writing up here. So all of the participants have to go to every character or every banner and ask the characters questions or find out, okay, what year was Arthur Roy Mitchell a prolific artist? What years? So they would have a question, somewhat like we did at St. Louis. I haven't finished evolving it, but they would get a sticker if they answered the question right. And so they would turn in their 12 questions and get a prize. So they would have to talk to these historical legends. So that's the game.
So, would they be walking down a plank or?
No,
Walk the
Like a
plank.
fashion show.
well,
A
there's
runway. It's called a runway.
I'm
it's a
sorry.
runway. Well, in
Or
that
are
room,
they gonna stand still?
stand on the floor? They would be
Okay.
walking around,
All right.
and but there's no ramp because that area.
It's not really a fashion show.
So
No,
that wouldn't
it's
be
not.
So let's do
separate.
one at a time. Shirley, go ahead.
No, I say it's just not really a fashion show anymore.
No, it's more.
Yeah, we need to figure out the nomenclature, I think, for this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's
I'm
a
having
little,
trouble explaining
the
it.
naming is,
Yeah, I call
Derek.
it Lore of Legends
No,
game,
that was.
Lore of Legends game.
You like that? I just called it that.
It's easier than
Fashion show.
explaining a fashion show.
Yeah, and that would make it interactive for the people to really study something interesting. And, well, it is interesting to me, but it might not be.
I still like the idea of a fashion show.
It's just finding the people and
What do you mean when you
Yeah,
say
what
you
do you
like
mean?
the idea of a fashion show?
Well, like what we came up with when we said we would talk to the people at Main Street Live or whatever and get their costumes and have children or teenagers dress up in costumes and parade around and fashion the old historical uniform.
it's very difficult.
Which is a little bit different than what
Yeah.
Gene is
Right.
proposing.
It's
But I love the lure idea. That don't get me wrong.
Mhm.
I just
Okay.
think that
I agree with that but I haven't even
But
been able
that's-
to get with those people because I don't want to talk to them until we're really for sure.
that's kind of a thing that's not like taking up time. That's, hey, we can do this all day.
Yeah,
The lure game.
exactly.
But the fashion show would have to be like, hey, here's our time slot. You know what I mean? Let's
Right.
do
Well,
that.
that's why the other question is, because of the time slot we had it in was the luncheon. And the idea for the luncheon, based on Carlos helping me with this, was to get the people to go out to different restaurants instead of staying in the, it would be economically more efficient, not economically, but physically more efficient.
Sort of treasure hunt.
Well, no, not a treasure hunt, just have them vouchers to 10 different restaurants, 10, if we have,
So I
so
just
more
gave this,
restaurants
Yeah,
get.
let's back up a little bit on
I-
this because not everybody has this information. So
Right.
I gave,
either Gene or Carlos
Yeah.
describe this concept.
so I gave this idea to Gene because we did this, and I say we as me and Wally, when we did the comedy festival here, is this last year we just, and this was just at the marketplace, but we can kind of do however we want. But we went to the marketplace, asked them, hey, we want our people to come here and eat, but we don't want to waste like a bunch of food here. What's a good meal that you would provide for comics? And then they gave us little voucher things that we gave to them. But what I was telling Gene is what we could do is just approach several of the places here and say, hey, do you want to participate in this? Is there a meal that's $15, $20-ish that you would provide? And we'll give those people that can get the luncheon a voucher. They go turn those in, they get their meal, and those places turn in those vouchers at the end. We pay them for those meals that they actually served. Instead of us having food waste, food stuff all over the floor, having to do anything with food trays, plates, waste,
Clean up.
all of
Serving.
that. It
I
puts
think
it all out there. Plus, it
Gets them
puts
out into
people
the
out into
community.
the community.
I agree with, I mean, I don't want to distract from having children being in this fashion show. I'm adding, children, but I'm just having a hard time getting these cooperations to build. I mean, and it is time consuming, so.
Yeah.
And with.
Well, one
Ally-
thing at a time. So thanks, Carlos.
Okay.
It really helps explain the concept. Anybody have comments? Do you think that makes sense to do that?
Yeah, my only thought is it's gonna break up the whole group, you know what I mean? For anything, but then again, at 1:30, that's just a choice anyway, so I don't know if that matters.
It's going to break up the attendees
Mhm.
if they go to different places for lunch.
Right.
That's not that
But I
far.
don't know if it matters,
I think
Well-
we keep them close to the downtown. I mean, nothing's further
Right, we
than
were
5
doing
minutes
So a lot
away.
of these
really.
things bump into each other.
Yeah.
The thing on this, so do you have any thoughts on that idea?
What time is this?
Well, the luncheon
That's
is,
during the
11.
lunch hour from
11.
12
luncheon
to
is down here
1:15.
in the second
And
yellow.
then what's following that? The walking tours?
The walking
The
tours and the trolley.
self-guided walking tours?
Right. There's two things, that's a breakout. Self-guided walking tours at 1:30 to 4 and the trolley tour.
So people don't have to come back if they don't want to come back. They can go get lunch and then
It's
leave.
true.
That's a good point.
Only if they're going to do a tour, either walking tour or trolley tour.
10:45. Well, that game would go on all day, but.
Oh,
like
that's
you
another
said,
day, okay,
Yeah, that game would go on all day.
different day.
And then we don't have the coal miners town player.
Whatever we decide to do with that piece, personally, I think it's a great idea.
To go
And then we need,
to
pardon?
go out for lunch?
Yes, to do the voucher
Okay.
system,
Okay.
however that works. But we really need to be very clear and coordinate this with the Main Street Board. This is, I think, within my understanding, we can clarify with them, really within their purview as far as their business partners, their neighbors, all those. So I think this is something that we need to make sure that they either say, great idea, you guys do it, or we're gonna do it, or just to get clear on who's on first with that.
Yeah.
Yeah?
So that, go back to the Main Street to
Yeah, I
clarify.
think so. Thoughts, questions about that part of it?
There's really not that much space. I mean, that's the whole thing about eating in there. That ramp area supposedly is not available, according to Margie.
Yeah, all that stuff in the back.
All that stuff in the back is not in the, that's not part of the area that we can use.
Would you like me to talk with her a little bit more and maybe see, because it sounds like if you're gonna, this is for the fashion show, right?
No.
Not anymore.
This is for
No,
the
for the-
lunch.
Lunch, but, well, it just, yeah, the lunch area, we were thinking of using that bar area.
Okay.
When we had people bringing in the food, okay, but now we don't want to use, I think that's an area we could use for the tables, for the exhibits, for different organizations that want to.
Let me try to communicate with her a little bit more
And I
about
have a meeting with
why.
her at 9 on
I
Tuesday.
feel like sometimes no isn't really a no. So let me
Okay.
dig a
With-
little
with
deeper on
who?
that, about the space usage, and see what exactly the concern is, and see if we can get what we would like to do.
So Keely, I think you missed,
Probably missed it.
so we had a conversation about this idea of doing vouchers for lunch. I don't know if you heard any of that.
I did.
Okay.
I think it might be difficult to administer.
Because the city would have to pay that.
Yeah, and just like how
Restaurant.
much and what's available, and
Mm.
each restaurant's gonna have to come up with something that fits into the voucher criteria.
Mm.
So it might just be easier to get somebody to
Cater it.
cater it.
Keeping
Yeah.
things
And keep
simple is
everybody
really
happy.
important.
Yeah.
We are
Yeah.
getting, this is becoming, got lots of legs, and I really think we need to keep things as simple as we can.
No, it's fine to, we just have to get volunteers, like Carlos says, to clean up and pick up. And if they bring, I had thought of a box lunch, but when I talked to, we had talked to potentially Three Sisters, because of the tacos,
Yeah,
the Indian tacos. And they wanted to bring a buffet out, not put it in a box, because they wanted to have it more fresh.
I see.
So then that was another thing, that they have to come in through our doors or come in the back way and set up.
Sandwich, it's gotta be a sandwich.
So it's gotta be either a box lunch is probably better to coordinate and
Okay.
have it brought in.
Okay.
And we did get a donation from Christy Frank at Trinidad Teas to bring in cold and hot tea, or cold tea, I think, iced tea, and a big container for the iced tea.
Okay.
So we already got a,
That's nice.
Do we
She
want to
already
maybe
volunteered.
circle back with her and see if she wants to do the catering?
does she do catering for box lunches?
She might be able to. We
I
should
know,
ask.
she was tea.
Is that something
you
we're gonna
think
have
we-
to put out for a bid
For
or
a bid, we
anything?
should probably put a little bid out, because M Squared probably wants to bid. And
Probably.
Yeah, we should
Maybe
do that.
Ronald's a
Open.
no-no.
Good idea.
I don't know.
So let's come back to the, okay, so now we can have the fashion show with more kids involved and more.
Wait, let's, I need some,
Closure on the tables.
I need some closure on this luncheon meeting thing plan. So, what are we
Who do you want
doing?
me to send the bid to?
We have to have 3 bids.
So bid for the restaurants, right? Who do you want me to send the bids to?
M Squared, All Max, Three
Max.
Sisters.
No,
Do you want
no,
barbecue
no.
or no?
Possibly. Because they do
Nano and
sandwiches,
Nana's.
Yeah.
Nana Nona's, but they don't do.
They do
They
vegetarian.
just do
right?
Italian, right?
They do Italian
Well, they do
sandwiches.
Sandwiches, yeah. Okay, and then who, Nana Nona's,
And
and
maybe
did you think of?
What about Tease Me,
Smokehouse?
Treat Me? They're right there, they're
Tease Me,
very
Treat Me.
close.
Okay, and just ask them what their price for.
Yeah, and if you'd like, whatever your RFP looks like or bid looks like.
I'll better show it to you.
Yeah. Well, it's fine. I don't care too much, but I was gonna say we can post it online too if you'd like.
Yeah,
In case
people
anyone
can bid
else-
on it without us mailing it to them. Or we
Exactly.
can mail it to all the restaurants and then you can see who puts in. I think, okay, but for sure invite these people, okay.
Okay.
Let's do
Yeah, see
that.
how much food they could provide for not to exceed cost of $25 or something. See
Right.
what they
And what was our
come up
total budget for lunch?
2,000, Well, I have it here on our budget. The luncheon was 2,500 I put in as 100 people times $25 each. So we're actually taking all of our attendees out for lunch, really, that's our budget.
Wow. And then tea is provided, so
Tea
which
and
is
drinks.
just food.
Just food, yeah. And they'd have to have napkin and plate and whatever they need. But I still think the idea of the box lunch is better so that they can.
Okay, so
Alright.
we're settled at least that we're gonna bid out for box
Box lunch.
lunches, we'll have lunch on premises. I think we still need to obviously update the, Main Street Board and make
Right,
sure
yeah, I
that they're
agree.
on board with it. I mean, they're clear about what we're doing,
Right,
so.
no, I agree, I just didn't want to give input on the restaurants that we sent to, we should be the masters. And then we can still have the entertainment, the music if we do the.
Do you want to get back onto our
Yes, go back
sequence?
onto this.
Go
I
ahead.
have a question about the trolley. Are we gonna walk to meet this trolley, or is this trolley gonna meet us there?
You know, we're gonna get to
Let's get
that,
to
so
that,
let's
yeah.
go ahead and go back
We're still
in
at
order if we
10:45,
could.
right?
Yeah, we
So
did
yes,
10:45, so that's just a little break and trying to get those tables set up. And I don't think we're gonna use Colita for the fashion show coordinator because, well, I'm not sure. We've had some different opinions about if she's able to help us do that or not, if she's really getting back to me, so I might be the only one coordinating that.
Jean, would you like me to reach out to her, or would you
Well, I
prefer to
have reached
coordinate?
out to her, but I like to coordinate because she's not responding back to some of my requests.
Would you like me to help?
Maybe
Yeah.
city
Okay.
person should
I can do that.
Yeah.
Derek?
And we did set up some times for the audition for the 23rd.
We've been up all night, eh?
And then the 2 hour, there would be about 6 hours of training. But for what they get for the contributing about 12 hours to this process would be a photo shoot with a headshot and it's called time for print, time through print. The people that become these characters would be getting an 8x10 photo portfolio with a costume for a full-length person and a headshot that they can use as a portfolio piece. So that's what these 20 people, if there's 20 people that we can find that want to do this.
Any African Americans?
Well, we gotta add that. I didn't have that on my 5 list, but they weren't the top 12.
Are there any? in
There
our top
was
12?
the lady in the top 12 when we did this in 2015, but we should use that, what is her name? The one they're trying to get the
Kathy.
Kathy Williams. We should add that to the banner, yeah. That we don't have to just use these banners. We
I
should.
nominate Commissioner Thomas to model.
Yay! Kathy
I
Williams!
just want a photo.
Buffalo.
You gotta do the hours. If you want the photo.
Gotta do the 12 hours of training. Good one. But that would be good if you could find us a Kathy Williams model. I'd love to add that. We don't have to have a banner for her, but we will make one if we do get some more, benefit.
Well, I think it's a really great idea, and this idea of involving Kalita and all those perks and, sounds really good. I guess I to be honest, I'm a little concerned that she can really pull that off, and it's a lot. I think it would be great if she can, but we need kind of her to commit to it, and we also need for the Main Street Board really needs to be, these are their neighbors and people that they're in a lot of
Right.
communication with.
No, I agree. I didn't
And we really need to make sure
reserve
that,
space if we use it right.
well, that they're on board and have
Yeah.
notice of this stuff kind of up front. And there was some concern or question about Kalita's post on Facebook regarding her call for models, and it had some logos on it that probably should not have been on
Right.
that. So we just need to manage that, manage it. I mean, it's great. If she can really do this, that's just super cool. So I don't want to come across as like, micromanaging it, but we do need to have some oversight about what's
yeah.
put out, especially if it's referencing the city.
Nope, I agree. And we've tried to go back on that, and like I said, it's very difficult to get a hold of people sometimes, and they don't answer back.
It is, and you've done an
It's one of
amazing
those-
job of doing that, Jean.
We want to
so.
make sure that it gets done in a, like you said, collaborative manner, and I will keep Margie more informed. And let's go on to 11.
All right, yes.
11 to 12:15 is our breakout sessions, and the first breakout is local landmarking how-tos, and Shirley's our moderator, and then we have Derek to come in there, and let's see, Carlos, Carlos is gonna do the Wheeler, so I'm gonna take you off of that one. And then we had the other, that's where we put Lindsay from
So this
History
is
Colorado.
Keely and Lindsay at
Keely
this
now,
point?
Lindsay,
And then
Derek,
Tom.
if he wants to be, and Shirley would be the moderator. But the other two people that we had was Tom Murphy, because his Chappelle House got landmarked, and the Carnegie Library, Jessica Huffman, because she is the city building that got landmarked. So we wanted to have people that actually went through the process be there.
So that would look like possibly like two sort of straight up short presentations, maybe from Lindsay and Keely, who say
Mhm.
la 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 la.
Right.
And then we have, Tom and Jessica, what was this experience like for you? And we do that in 1
That's
hour?
an hour and 15 minutes.
Okay.
And then the second room, if Carlos is ready for this, he's kind of expressing some interest about not being able to get the people.
I've just been having trouble finding a presenter, but I was looking through some more of the stuff about the monument, and one person he's just in a photo, he doesn't have anything, but I know him to be a historical nerd about land survey, and I'm 100% certain he knows a lot about the Wheeler survey. His name is Gene Cooper, so I'm gonna send him an email this afternoon and see if he's available. He's done a lot of presentations, like with the Central Colorado Surveyors Association and stuff like that. So he does a lot of presentations, and I'm sure if I ask him and if he's available, he would come and do it. So
And make sure.
I'm gonna try to get him on board, because the 3 people I have sent emails out, I haven't got any responses to. So
Is there like a plan B that might, and I'll just throw this out.
my other plan B is me just
Well, that's what I was
saying the
gonna
whole
say.
thing and just kind of just presenting it as it is for what I
Yeah.
know, and just like showing the stuff that I know of it, and just presenting it as it is. And then if they want to ask questions, I'll ask questions, and if I can't answer them, then I'll just be like, I'll write these down, maybe I'll get back to you on
Yeah,
them.
let's do
That
that.
should be plan A.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know.
Well, let me know.
I
his
would
name.
like to see if Gene Cooper, because he's really good at that kind of stuff, and he knows a lot about history and could probably expand on it really good. So
Might help.
I'm gonna see if he can, but if he doesn't, then I'll just go ahead and.
Shirley has a good question. Go ahead.
If we could give him the stipend that everybody else, it might be
Yeah, well,
some
that's
incentive for him to
exactly.
come and talk.
Yeah, so I'm gonna send him an email this afternoon, because I've been waiting and haven't gotten anything back, and I know we're getting really close. So that's when I was sitting over here, I was looking up through all that stuff, and I was like, oh,
Good,
gee.
because we want to get him on the program. That's
Yeah,
good.
so I'll try to contact him, and hopefully I can get him on board.
And you'll have photos and maybe like will there be
Oh,
a
yeah.
PowerPoint or something?
Yeah, I'll probably use some of the stuff from that PD, that little, what was it called, circular that
Yeah.
was put out, and then maybe some other stuff. I'm still trying to, and I have an appointment for next month to go check out his original notes, because they have all of his books. The guy who did the work to place the
Oh,
stone,
that's cool.
they have his original books for when he did the placement of the stone. They're up at the University of Colorado library. I tried to go see it when I was there for the conference, but you had to set up an appointment and all that. So
Sounds interesting.
Good, so get that back to me as soon as you can, then look
Yeah.
at number 3, under 11 o'clock is Sandy Dolock, who's from the Walsenburg area, Levita, Huerfano County. And that's the other thing we should put in the letters to everybody, is what IT requirements they have,
yeah,
what their
That's
display's gonna
definitely-
look
When
like
you
in that
do this
form.
draft, if you can put together a bullet list of stuff that, or however
Yeah.
that needs to be in there.
yeah.
So-
That's basically
Gemini.
something I need to know if I'm going to be doing
Yes.
that
Right.
kind of stuff. I just need to know what they're gonna be presenting, if they need a screen or a projector and thing. Well, I mean, cause the 2 breakout rooms have TVs, so we could probably project on there. That's one thing I'm gonna go
Yeah,
talk
we
to
need to
them
maybe
on that.
do a walkthrough.
Yeah, I'm
um,
gonna go over there after
with
this.
you.
Yeah.
But I need to be, because I need to do a walkthrough, I haven't done it yet,
Oh.
to really narrow
Space.
down where each of these sessions is gonna be, and then you can look at what the IT capabilities are, and then we can, so I'd like to do it together. You can
Okay.
go whenever you wanna go, but I need to go at some point with
I
y'all.
did get an appointment, if anybody can go at 9 o'clock, because I was trying to just get with Margie on this. So she has an appointment with me Tuesday at 9 o'clock.
For what?
To show me, get me an inventory of what they have there, and what rooms have what equipment. So if you can't go, it's okay, I want to get an inventory of what equipment they have and which rooms.
Well, maybe you could add to the work plan, if I'm not able to go, just what room it's gonna be in,
Right.
and just write
Yes.
that down, so
Right.
we're,
But we can set up another meeting, but she just happened to be free next
Sure,
Tuesday.
sure.
But Carlos, if you can go then, that would be good, because
Yeah.
all right, then Robert V. Hill, I don't know what he was gonna talk about, because I didn't meet with the Trinidad Historical Society, but the Centuries family study that they've done every year, I didn't know if that was a possibility for,
I think from Robert,
What they do.
everybody know who he is, Robert V. Hill. He works, I think, for the title company.
Oh, really?
But he's also has a Facebook page. It's got a long title, I kind of forget what it's called, but it does a lot of historic photos of Trinidad. He's very knowledgeable. He's on the Trinidad Historical Society group. And he's just a really, really good storyteller. I mean, he's just this
and I haven't had.
person
Did you have a
who's
chance
lived
to-
here. Yes.
Could you get with them, since you know him a little more than
Yeah,
me?
well, I've asked him, and I don't know, we need to consult real quickly on this too, Miss Shirley, if you are thinking that you will be attending the Trinidad Historical Society meetings
Do you know when
going
it is?
forward.
I don't know.
Oh, I think just getting with Georgie is the
I'll
third,
try. Third Wednesday?
is it the third Wednesday, I think?
Yeah, I didn't
Because-
like
I don't know.
We talked about having a liaison, and when I went to them by myself, I just said, we're doing this, we'd love for you to participate however you like, and they were kind of unsure, and I said, if you could just let
So
us
that
know.
would be today.
Pardon?
Yeah, it's today,
So
the
that would be
third
today,
Wednesday.
because today's the 3rd Wednesday.
Where do they meet?
What time?
Here on the third floor
Oh,
in
they
the
meet
conference
here?
room.
Oh, they do?
But I didn't see an email about it, so I don't know.
I'll check into it. I'll try to come today. 'Cause
But I can forward,
Do you know at what time?
I'll forward her email to
I
you.
think it's at 3 o'clock.
So I don't want to put you on the spot now, but I know you
Yeah,
expressed
well, I'd like to.
interest, and so I think if one of us attends those meetings, and then so Robert attends those meetings is what my link to that was,
Right.
and we can ask him if, because they were going to say yes or no, if they were going to have a table, were they going to be part of the group,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing. So
Guys, I apologize. I've got to go home.
No, but you're the next person. You're on this. You're Kayla, Derek, and Kim for the Camp baseball.
yeah, let's just swap
Let's get you time.
priorities. Go
He's
ahead.
got to fall asleep.
Derek, can you be in the breakout session at the Southern Colorado Miners
Yeah, I
Museum?
want to present something on
I know.
Yeah.
That's what I have you down for. That potentially
I'm
will be.
thinking like
And the baseball.
PowerPoints.
Yes.
I'm thinking I want to get like an actual scorecard
Yeah.
and get copies of it so everybody can know the brilliance of this lady,
Yes.
because
Journalist.
those things are.
What's your last name again? I still.
Ina Young.
Young. And I'll get you all the same book. But I've already talked to Yolanda at the Miners Museum, and she wants to have that session there. So
She does?
Yes, she wants to have that session there. It's just across the street.
Right.
That would be the
No, I
third,
think that would
fourth
be
weekend.
that would be great.
Because that museum is so gorgeous, and
I
they
just
have the
didn't-
big
I didn't
conference
know.
table.
This whole session, that 3?
That number 3, Camp baseball. I call it baseball, but they
Oh.
can. And they have some baseball exhibit stuff. And so if you will moderate that and give your presentation about Ina Young there. Okay, so, and then you're gonna try to help us audition for the Kathy Williams, right? Fashion show, or not fashion show, portrayal. Yes, you're gonna find somebody.
Do I know,
You have to go look at
can I get
Kelly.
a photo?
Yeah, I've got somebody. You have, I think Paula Manini might have some photos of Kathy Williams, and there is a story in one of our magazines that I can get you.
Yeah.
If you can find somebody that wants to audition.
So
for
before
that.
you head out, is there anything else on the baseball game that you guys need to talk about while we're in meeting?
Well, it's still up in the air. Kim is still trying to get I got this as part of the Trinidad sponsorship that Kimberly is asking for a new alcohol, and it's not approved yet, but it's in the process. The CEO is reviewing the uniforms and seeing if they can afford it. So I'm not sure if they're gonna sponsor, and if not,
What were they supposedly gonna contribute, how much?
about $2,000 for
For-
the uniforms to get 24 authentic vintage. It's in the packet. I had the letter from
Yeah, they
Kim.
were supposed to get a nice package deal with it, right?
It was including the tops, the uniform tops and hats. There was gonna be a new Elk Cole shirt, and then the Trinidad Tigers was the big six. The Cole was orange on black with the black pants furnished by Trinidad Tigers, and the big six was the black trim on light gray with white pants, and the logos Kim is designing. So they asked him for $2,700, and we're still waiting to hear from New Elk Cole, and then I've got a more detailed schedule from Kim about the gates open at 11:30, and this is important for our flyer, Keely, that they don't want anybody except the people that are part of the exhibit and the
Exhibit setup.
setup at 11:30. 12 is when they'll open for the meet and greet, and they'll start that about 12:15.
Is that kind of what you were saying in your email that I wasn't understanding very well?
Yes, to delete the 11:30 and put 12 as the start time.
Gotcha.
Because 11:30 is for us to come in. There is an exhibit booth there, a concrete kind of like table that's in the lower level that we can set up things and put stuff out. But this is kind of up in the air right now, but we just may put not any sponsor name.
And delete New Elk Poll, right?
And delete New Elk Cole for now, right? And so we just put it
TBD on New Elk
to be
Poll.
determined, right? Krista Frank, and I think Krista goes by Frank. That was part of she was gonna sing the national anthem. The players line up and they introduce the players. The first pitch was gonna be whoever the sponsor is. Then the exhibition game is 3 innings. And then the Triggers game starts at 3 with Santa Fe del Fuego. So that's kind
Is
of,
Krista on this schedule?
yes. It's a different page. It's on the sponsorship.
The
Okay.
lady singing the national anthem, is she gonna be like in her old time clothes, or?
Yeah, I think so. And she had the old time mic.
She does a lot of that kind of stuff.
Right.
I've seen her dress up old.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So
So that's our Sunday, and then the Corazon de Trinidad walking tour, I did get hold of
Can
Christy
you
Rogers.
go, just real quick, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Jean.
Did you need to go?
Did you need to leave?
I just got 2 more
I
times.
thought I seen something on me on this walking tour or something.
Well, yeah, I wanted you to be with Christy Rogers at that 1:30 to 4, because we don't have anybody from our commission. And she's the one that we had last year that was the
Well-
presenter.
Yeah, so have you spoken to her again?
Yes, she said she would do it.
Oh, I didn't
Yes.
know.
I did get a hold of her. She's not in town all the time, but she said she would be here.
So
And we
what,
just-
what will I be doing?
Well, she trained people how to use the app for the 42 buildings, and you'll be going around with any of the people that choose to do the walking tour. It's all the Corazon de Trinidad building.
Yeah, I'm down.
Okay,
I'm
and
sorry, I
then
gotta go.
No
the
worries.
trolley tour it's in there. Our trolley sites are in there. There's another page for
But
this.
is
So-
the trolley gonna meet us
Meet at the,
at the thing? We
Corazon.
don't have to walk and go
No.
to the trolley, okay.
no,
That's
the
cool.
trolley picks us up at the Space to Create. And then we go to, let's see, the trolley tour is right here on the left-hand side.
I apologize for having you.
It's okay, me too, I have to go first. Trolley tour is Chappelle House, Fort Wooten, East Street School, Fox Theater, Water Building, Carnegie Library, and City Hall. So that's kind of we mapped it out, leading from the Space to Create. Go to the Chappelle House, visualize this, we go up to Marty like this, Marty Hackers. We go up to East Street School, short time, because people don't even know about East Street School. And the Fox Theater, come back, we might not get a very big tour, whatever's available. And then we have to talk to Chris about that. And the water building, we need somebody from City Hall. I was thinking maybe Frank Valentine, or Mike Valentine, that was the former
I thought Chris was doing it.
water building. You didn't want to do the water building. I thought you were doing City Hall.
Yeah, I'm
in
sorry.
City Hall.
Yeah.
But the water
And
building,
Jared Chatterley, that's kind of his baby, so.
the water building is Chatterley's?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, he really wants that building for outdoor rec, so I don't know if he has access to it. I imagine he does and would be.
That's
Oh,
Yeah,
true.
because they've had access to it before.
Good. Well, I guess I'll ask him if he knows the history, and there's a mural there too that we wanted to have point out, okay? So,
Yeah, that's a
Okay.
good point, Jean.
and then, Carlos recommended Nathan Lung for that trolley tour, or, I don't know if you'd want to,
I did ask him and he's not available, so the other person who is available and he said he would do it is, and he's another local comic, is, jeez,
Jeremy?
yeah, Jeremy.
Available to do what?
To just kind of be on the trolley, right, kind
and
of.
displaying where we're going
Right.
next. and-
so
Okay, that's what
kinda
I
just
thought
be
you
like
were
a-
saying. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, so he, oh my God, Jeremy, I asked him and he said he would totally do it.
What's his last name?
Pysher.
How do you spell that?
P-H-Y-S.
Did you get me his
CHR?
email?
Pysher, maybe?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So what's he gonna, and does he know about Trinidad?
I mean, he lives here, he knows as much as, than any
we were
newcomer,
gonna write a
so, but
script.
yeah, basically I told him that we would kind of give him a script on like where they're going to next, kind of a few little
Oh, okay.
pointers
Okay, no, that makes sense. I just.
on the
yeah.
building, like as far as when, I guess like if we're gonna do a script, we should just mention as far as like those buildings and, I mean, just maybe a few little pointers on them, really basic, because these other storytellers are gonna kind of talk about.
Right, because we'll have storyteller hosts at each side.
Yeah,
So you'll keep them entertained while they're writing.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, no, that's-
Yeah,
that's
he
what-
he
that's
could
very
fill in
deep,
with like
right?
just talking about people on the street or whatever too, so.
And if he has I've never seen him do a show or anything, but if he has a relaxed, informal sort of manner, I think that's really great.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's the
He was the other person I knew that probably would be able to do it well, so.
So who's gonna write this script for him, or this, whatever we're gonna call it?
Do you need me to do
What
it?
about who's in the history?
Well, I can help you, we can do it together, and you can help us a little.
I don't
bit.
wanna help with
Yeah,
it.
help you.
Or I can just write the initial thing, send it out to you guys, and if
Okay.
you guys are cool with it, we'll fly with that.
So we have to just send it to Chris and Jean,
Yeah. Send me a draft and then
please. Thank you for doing that.
we'll, okay, Jeremy, and send me his name and email so we can send him the form to comply.
Yeah, that's another
Yeah.
one.
And then I think we went over the Central Park, what's happening on June 4th if we find a sponsor. And if not, we will probably just have a day-long event.
Have a big one.
We'll just have the 3rd if we don't find a baseball sponsor.
Oh, is it totally out if we can't find a sponsor for?
Well, for our 3 endings it is, if we wanted to create the historical.
Right.
I got a question.
Go
So,
ahead.
could you explain what's happening then? Because I'm lost on this one.
Well, I.
So is
included in
it
the
because
packet.
New Elk Coal is going out of business? I mean, why
That's
is
part of it.
Well,
suddenly we don't have a
They're
baseball
under,
team?
they went under chapter 11, which when you go under chapter 11, just allows you to basically use your money as operating costs. That's it, nothing
No
extra.
extra expenses.
So this is something extra, and I think it's definitely not gonna fly anymore, so that's
Well,
my big thing on it.
And I appreciate that, and I think that is true.
Yeah.
I don't think we can speak for New Elk.
Yeah,
I know
exactly.
you're not saying that.
Yeah, exactly.
So, we just need to find out from them sooner rather than later if it's a
Yeah.
go or not. You
And
know.
Kim is researching other sources too. She's trying to find other sponsors. She really wants to do this because she feels.
I really want to do it. I think it's,
She has.
Derek
she
was
has a-
saying Walmart was itching to do something. Why
Yeah,
not contact
Yeah.
them?
I'll ask him to call Walmart. That's a good idea. And I don't know if you want to go over them.
She can reach out to the well too, and we might sponsor.
Okay, I'll call Kim and tell her.
Yeah.
Is that you or who did?
My husband? He just
Okay.
handles all the stuff that I
What is
probably
his
shouldn't
name? So
touch.
should I have her, does he have a website or? email?
His email is jason@gravitatedevelopment.com.
Okay.
And I'll give you his phone number. He's,
Okay.
if he doesn't respond to you this week, it's because he's traveling. I should know his phone number. It's 904-607-0622.
That would be great, 'cause Kim is really into this, and she's already designed it, she
Yeah.
just needs to change the
Yeah.
logo, and that
Yeah.
would be great if we got a new business and downtown
Yeah.
business, it would be
It'd
fun.
be really fun.
Okay, so,
Gene, I wonder if, because, so I think we're gonna try to adjourn by 11:30, so this is up to y'all. If, we do need to make sure we're all clear and on the same page about the save the date that we wanna post. So, are you okay if we jump to that
yeah,
and then
let's
kinda
jump to
come
that.
back?
And then we can do the budget
Okay,
after we do the 20th
okay.
tourism grant, don't you
Or
think?
you can update about that,
Yeah.
but, so, I know, you've had a new iteration of the save the date.
Yeah, I presented it to you on my laptop. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to print it because the printer's in there and they're having a meeting.
Oh, that's right.
So you can distribute this laptop if you'd
Yeah.
like. And just
Okay.
let me know what we need to change on that. And this was to be,
So
You
really, it's just, I'm sorry, just adding the Historic Preservation Trinidad logo.
Which you
We
developed.
took some of the,
this, no, I can't take credit for this.
So,
It was basically y'all and Anissa smushed together.
smush, it's a smushed version of our save the date. I think it looks awesome.
yeah.
I think it's lighter, a little lighter. I thought it was kind of dark and it had a
Mhm.
lot of text, which
Yeah.
was a
And
little
I like the
distracting.
white text is better,
Yes.
because that yellow is
Yeah.
kind of,
Yeah.
it swallows it up down there. What does it say, June? But are you not putting the detailed schedule or that more? No.
That's
because-
another one for your ad.
Yeah.
So I'm updating that.
Right, so
I just
for now, we're
needed-
just gonna do this.
So this is for.
Is that the postcard?
The postcard is okay to just go out because it doesn't have any data in it because it's not digital. So I think that's good to go out. And then this is going to be posted on our city page
And is this,
with the text that we talked about.
Yeah.
and it's got the correct address, is that right? 218
Right, that is the right address.
West Main?
West Main is the, yeah.
And then,
And then there's their
do you need
contact
to see
name.
this, Carlos?
No, I just saw it.
Did you want to put a
I'm really good
contact
with it.
name or is it just whoever?
Who would like to
Did
be
you-
the contact?
Can you read that little
Gene
blurb?
was.
Do you have that in that email
Yes.
that I
Did
sent?
you
So
want
this,
my email?
the idea was is we do just the straight up save the date because we have all these details that are still pending. I don't want, you know.
Yeah.
And then we do just a comment,
Like a caption.
a caption.
Yeah.
Mhm. No, that looks good. The white lettering shows up and it
Yeah, it pops a little bit.
pops out. Who it is, I have to add that. Okay. And then you're gonna get that back to me, that half-page flyer, if you don't wanna put names
Yeah, would
there.
you like to see it on my laptop right now?
Well, no, I
Okay.
guess so. I'd like to look at it a long time.
Okay.
If you can email it to me, I can look at it.
I'll email it to you. I just made your comment, your changes that we
Did you
talked
get the
about.
sizing too, all right?
Yeah, they sent me the,
You have it in a JPEG or a
I have it in Photoshop right now, so I'm gonna change the canvas size, make sure I get all your bleeds correct. But you did send me something that I think it said 5/44 or something inches, and I was wondering about that,
Okay.
because I didn't understand. I may have actually written it back already.
Okay, good.
We'll just check that.
But we'll work together on that. I can resize it if you can't do it. But
Okay. Yeah, it should be pretty easy as long
if
as
you can
I
send a PDF, it's better than a JPEG. Don't flatten it.
don't flatten it. Okay,
And
I
that's
can do
gonna
that.
take a little longer to send,
Okay, so this would be the caption. This is gonna be posted on the city Facebook page.
And are those shareable? Because that's kind of what I wanted to do, is have it sanctioned by the city and then we can share it to all the various,
Yeah.
you know, whatever.
Yeah, and I can also have her shared on multiple places. I can make sure that it's shared like on, I don't know if we have an Instagram account or TikTok or something.
That'd be great.
and Main Street's not gonna wanna be on that with their logo or?
So we've actually already shared on the Main Street page from what I've gathered, my limited gathering of the last 2 days.
Yeah.
So we've already shared on Main Street, but we can share again on Main Street. I think there's no like traffic, there's plenty of room to
No, but I
share.
meant their logo. Do they want their logo to be on?
So I just asked that, and I asked for permission from them, and also for the higher res logo.
Okay.
So hopefully they'll send me that. Margie was like, this is the only one I have. And I was like, so then I reached out to Anissa and I was like,
If you Google it, you can find it pretty easily.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I'm not sure about Creative District, but Googling it has a better one online.
Okay. Good to know. In case they don't get back to me or something.
But I don't know about Creative District, and that's that one with the art.
Like, I'm guessing Anissa has it, so I just don't think
we'll
I've
just
heard
use
back.
Main Street, because I don't think Creative District's ever been approached by us, so we need to double check them. But Margie said they were, because we did go to one meeting we went to, but they said okay. Is that Marilyn Leffler still part of that Creative District? Or is it a
No, I haven't been to that board meeting yet. I meant to go last time and introduce myself, but that's probably more economic development than it is me.
Well, I'm going to talk to Jason at gravitatedevelopment.com.
Yes. You can say Keely sent you.
And I'll ask him to
Great.
go to both. I mean, it might be a good way to split. Get Walmart to sponsor that.
Okay, so this is the caption that's going to go out with the save the date. Join the City of Trinidad Historic Preservation Commission and other history enthusiasts for this free annual event celebrating Trinidad's history at the Commons at the Space to Create on Saturday, June 3rd, 2023, and on Sunday, June 4th, 2023, for a heritage exhibition baseball game. I need to add game to this. Baseball game at Central Park. Detailed event program coming soon. Follow our event page for the most up-to-date information, and then it links to the event page, which was set up, which I know that y'all did not want that set up, but it is already set up, so.
On the city website? Is it?
It's on the main, it's affiliated with the Main Street board. And I know Anissa told me there was a reason for that, and I don't remember what it was. I think if I had to speculate on what it was, I feel like maybe the city website's more like kind of just general business and you know, that kind of stuff, whereas this is an event, social event kind of more, so it would be affiliated with another page, and since we don't have one, maybe Main Street was the best one to affiliate with. Or, I mean, we could also...
Well, this is Trinidad, Colorado. Isn't that done by the tourism board? They should probably put it up.
Yeah, maybe tourism has their... I don't know how organized the tourism board is at this time in his point in history, but I can reach out.
That'd be great for them to put it on the Visit Trinidad, because...
Yeah.
And their kiosk, whenever they get that.
And we can link to any page. We could link... It just is set up through that page.
Well, that sounds... I like the wording a lot.
Yes.
I guess the only, based on our conversation on New
for
Elk,
that.
though, so if we put out we're having a heritage baseball game and we can't actually do that in the long, I mean, if we don't.
Just say it's not happening, I guess.
So I don't,
That's
I
not
mean, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think we should still have it. I mean, Kim Schultz is a go-getter. She'll get it done. We'll go to Jay. She'll go back to Jay.
What's the old thing about over-promising and under-promising? You know, I don't want to over-promise and under-deliver, I think is how it's put.
Well, if it doesn't go on the 4th, I mean, we could set it up for later in the year.
Yeah, and I think
She has 72
it's not
games.
too disappointing because you do have a baseball game later that day,
Exactly.
you know.
That's a good
And,
point,
I mean,
you know.
technically, like, if you had the jerseys, you could have the triggers, you wear those jerseys maybe, and when they play the Santa Fe Fuego. I think it
Yeah,
is.
that's an idea.
That's a
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, I think it'll happen. I mean, I'm pretty sure, but like I said, we can just say this didn't come together right now, but it might be later on. I mean, they have 38 home games, so
Yeah.
it might happen another day.
I know who boys like to play.
So is everybody good with the save the date the way we just described it with those comments? Okay, great. Thank you. Yay.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Lovely, lovely, lovely.
Okay, do you want to finish up?
Well, I
Jean,
think if we go to the
whatever you
tourism
think.
board, we're going to the tourism board on
Could
the
you-
20th.
Just update everybody about that?
Oh, well, we are meeting with Marty to get $3,000 to fund the
Request.
request. We're going to request, it's a grant that you fill out for the tourism board, and if you look on page 6 and 7 of the group of pages that I also put in there, there's a 2-page, page 6 and 7. And if you go to page 7, it's called, well, the 6 is on top, which has the list of, Elizabeth has done most of the hard work on the mission, and page 6 shows all the 20.
Okay.
Okay, so page 6 is the list of our board of directors. This is the tourism grant in their format.
That's okay, I've got so much paper, I don't know what I, oh, this, look at this.
The one thing we need to ask Chris for is our last year's expenses, if we had any expenses on marketing.
Right.
So if we had any, I don't think we, but we could charge.
We paid the band.
Oh, that's right. So what was that amount?
200?
200. So that's all we had from last year, but this year we are sending PSAs to Colorado Tourism. We're gonna do the donated half page of new legends for April, May, June. Then the list of exhibitors are here, and if you think of anybody else that we need to invite, let us know.
Are these exhibitors already confirmed?
No, that's why I'm making sure we have any more. And here's where the kids would come in. We're inviting Trinidad School District and Honey and Primero and Raton and Las Vegas. Then the second page is the direct mail and email of flyers to History Colorado, Colorado Preservation. Other localities will try to email. Shirley made up a great area organization, so we have a 2-page, almost 70 area
Your spreadsheet?
spreadsheet.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
an Excel spreadsheet, and
Oh,
we
it's
did labels.
awesome.
We already got 300 of
I went out.
our postcards out.
Thank you guys for doing that.
So we're gonna do that with the
Wonderful.
banner or whatever the flyer that we present. And then the World Journal, I've researched their prices are $270 for a 5 centimeter by 4 by 5. So I put 3 days, $810. Pueblo Chieftain is about $290 for 3 days, a 1/4 page at $870. And Las Vegas Optic is another newspaper, $250 for 2 days. And Chronicle News, I'm not sure, I haven't got the prices yet, but $200 for 2 days at $470. Because they want exact details of where we're gonna place our ad. So these would come out in May. I'll find the dates. Marty is gonna go over these with us on Monday. And then I have the other $6,500 budget below. Our total budget is presenters honorarium 8 at $250 is $2,000. There's no fee for space to create. The trolley is only $50 and it holds 28 people. And they might have their van, which holds 12 more, so I don't know what that's gonna cost. We need to ask Marty. They have a 12 to 13 passenger van that they're gonna have by June. It goes from hotel to take people downtown.
So that's a done deal? They're actually gonna have it?
I'm not sure when it's gonna be in, but she said that could be a different, if we have more than 28 people. Because that's all the trolley holds, so.
It's been approved, the expense has been approved by council.
The trolley, oh, the van, yeah. So they will have it sometime. So I put, we would pay for the printing of the program, the flyer, which is gonna be the same thing probably, the program and flyer. If we get any bags and a banner at $950. Plus the ad placement has to be 50 plus miles outside, and that's the 3,000. And the luncheon I put at 100 people times 25 is 2,500, and our live music 1,000. So we still need to get input on that if anybody wants to describe any more musicians. We were thinking about Jeff and his the Coal Camp.
This
Town
looks, thank you, this is great. And can we talk quickly about that before we adjourn, about the music piece, which we're thinking about playing during that lunch-ish hour? People are walking, people are boarding the trolley, they'd be performing over by the birdcage.
Yeah.
We want it to be local
Mhm.
music of various kinds, whether it's related to the coal camps and our mixed heritage that we have here. So you've talked to Coal Town Reunion?
Coal Town Reunion, they're supposed to submit a bid. And I haven't talked to anybody else, but I did talk to one person, and it's called the Tropicalis in Las Vegas, but they do more of a tropical exhibition, more jazz, and they're $900, but for 4 people, and so I'm not sure.
There's
So
a
I've not-
local group
sorry.
called Earbones.
And Earbones, that's the
Yeah.
other one I was wondering.
And Jason can give you their contact.
Okay,
They play with us.
good. Earbuds, okay.
Yeah, they're kind of folky, they're cute.
Are they
Yeah.
like modern folk or?
No, it's
Historical folk or traditional folk or?
I would say it's probably traditional. It's like light, you know. It's not heavy metal or anything like that, or
What
amplified
instruments do
sound.
they have?
Banjo and I think this cute little bass guitar thing. It's really
Right.
light. Yeah.
And we could even ask the one we had last year because they are still around, but.
Well, maybe I think just these two would be
Just two,
great
okay.
if we have, I mean, if that's,
So we'll be eating on one side of Main Street and they'll be playing on the other. Will we need traffic control? What's that?
Could we just put them under the string lights instead, and then it could be open to the lunch?
Ooh. That's the outdoor string lights?
Yeah, and we're working on. I gotta go talk to Audra. Yeah, we're working on some planting for out there.
Ooh,
So
Yeah,
that could be
I
actually
like
pretty
that.
nice. We could maybe
Yeah.
we can even have
Where's that?
tables out.
right in front of the.
Okay.
where the trolley's gonna pull up?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
that'd be like
sounds
a
better.
nice.
Yeah,
Better,
that's a good, and
vibe.
will the garage doors open up?
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds good.
It'll be
Yeah.
nice. It's June.
And then we don't have to cross the street. But we do
Yeah.
need security. We need to contact the police, right, just to make sure. And we need
Yeah,
to tell
that
people where to
somebody-
park.
Yeah,
Because that is a
parking,
So
we
we might
need to find
tell-
out the requirements and where they can park.
We should probably put that in the flyer too, when we get that out. Flyer registration, and we, don't you think we need a little form for them to register at least so we can get an estimate? How many
Nice
people?
if we do advance somehow.
For the
The whole
attendees,
Yeah, the attendees.
Well, we can do, you know, I mean, one
Yeah.
thing will be if when we do the regular event, you know, that will help sort of gauge some interest, although I'm not sure how accurate when people mark they're interested or they're going, that's one thing, but I don't know how you predict attendance otherwise.
when I said to attendees, I meant the people partaking in the event to get some kind of.
Like a lunch count.
The lunch count is what I was thinking of it as for, because are we gonna include all of us in the lunch? Do we have to get a lunch, so? We have to count everybody who's presenting and if Main Street works. Anybody?
We probably need an insurance disclaimer.
Why? For what? The food?
Uh,
Oh, I see what you're saying. in
Going
case they
everywhere, all over the place.
fall. Oh, right. Yes, Chris is our risk management person, right? She's your
Risk officer, chief risk officer over
chief
here.
risk officer. Yes, we probably do need that disclaimer on them. Good
And
point.
then that W-9 has to be filled out to get any kind of check issuance.
For the presenters you're talking about?
Yeah, for the presenters. So keep that in mind.
Do you have a W-9 you can
Yeah, I can
give to
forward
Jean and
a
then she can
W-9.
give that to people when she
Well, I
talks
thought you
to
were gonna
them?
send out the letters to the.
Yeah, so I can.
Or when you send the
Yeah, we
email?
want to send them out with the
Okay.
letters that
Yeah.
state they can't get paid without this filled out.
Right. Okay.
Anything else before we close?
That was it. Try to update everything. Then
I
we
have a
have
question about that.
Go
It
for
doesn't
it.
even mention us. It does not mention the Historic Preservation Commission.
You're lucky it did
At all.
because it's all wrong, so don't take
So I'm
that.
like,
It's
okay.
being- it's being
Well,
extinguished.
so what's the status of, so what she's referring to for people who can't read our minds is this casting call that went out. Can you
Right.
talk more about that, Gina, where it is
I thought
now?
we discussed that. I said it was extinguished as a personal, that it's, the schedule is supposed to be good, but we are,
Kind of mentioned, but not
well,
really.
right, so you're right, we need, and it should have been the city of Trinidad because we didn't approve it, so it's.
So
gonna
it's
be
been, has
redone.
it been taken
It's
down?
been taken down, as
Okay.
far as I know. I hope, if you haven't, it's been taken down and it's gonna be redone, and Kelly's gonna help me, right, do this casting call again?
Wrote it down.
And come out through the city.
And I don't know if we want to also give a heads up to Anissa with our,
Yes, give her that too, that's the size we want, right?
Keely, so this is kind of what we're looking at, is somewhat similar for our program.
Okay.
I'll just give this to you and leave it there.
Okay.
Excuse me.
It was a Trinidad Blues test, because we don't want to
So
try.
make this for us and then send it out for comment, for technical comment,
Well, yeah,
and incorporate the schedule.
Right, and the registration.
Well, this is our end product, right?
Yeah.
Is this what's
Formal
handed out
program.
at the event?
Right.
Is
Oh,
what
okay.
we're thinking.
Formal
No
event.
rush
flyer?
on that.
Okay.
So there's not a rush on that.
No, but it would include every speaker that we have and every.
So it's a
I'll get the
program.
process going now, just in case there's
Yes.
some.
And I can send you
Comments,
the backup, or if you need the.
What about the insert that was going out with the bills?
So I
Still
think that's a
happening?
withdrawal. I think we decided, well, first of all, Shirley said that she didn't think a lot of people, 4,000 people would even come. Those are not the target people, you know. Our targeted people is the Corazon de Trinidad. And she said they don't get much response, so I don't think, if you don't want to do that, I don't think we should do that.
Would it be possible too, because I know that you distribute the new Legends magazines, the physical printed ones, and I don't know how often you do it, but all of your business clients maybe, along with the new Legends, we could give them a stack of the flyers? Would that be
Yeah,
okay?
the one, or the ad, yeah, we could use the ad.
You can use the
She
ad.
has,
Yeah,
yeah,
we
an
can use
ad
the
in
ad.
Didn't you
or-
already print the save the dates? Or-
Well, those are the cards, that's all we had printed, the cards.
And those already went out?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, sure.
We still have some more left, don't we, Chris?
Yeah, we do,
We have
quite a
about
bit.
600 left. So
Okay,
I got
and
about
then the
40.
other thing, we could talk to Pat Howlett and see when he goes and does the tidbit circulation and his paperboy route, basically, what he calls it. We could give him a stack and say, could you please distribute these?
And that's for the flyer.
The flyer.
Whatever's already printed, and then everything else we can.
Is that the
finish.
flyer you're talking about, that we just approved, right?
No, it's this one.
No.
The one that,
Yeah, that one.
yeah,
The postcard.
postcard.
So we have a postcard,
Right.
we have a flyer, eventually, that's gonna go around town that we can take to folks to
Yeah, we
distribute.
should get one
8.5 by 11.
ready for posting, and if we're not gonna use the billing, we should at least have a posting one.
And so are we doing an insert for utility billing or not?
That's not
Do
our
you think we
target
should?
audience.
I don't have a strong feeling about it.
I don't think
I
it fits in
don't-
the envelope either. That was the
Well,
other
that's
thing.
No, not that one, but she said if Shelley said if we provided her an 8.5 by 11 unfolded advertisement, they could get it in the billing, but we have to meet the requirements
There's
and,
4,000.
yeah,
We have
there's
to
a
pay for
number.
4,000 print, so.
Yes,
$4,000.
that's a
Well,
lot.
4,000 customers.
The only thing I
Probably be
have
$900.
concerns.
Hang on one sec, go ahead.
I have concerns about not getting our landmark buildings and houses included.
Yeah.
There's potential customers out there that we need to consider.
Well, and the deadline is April, so maybe we should use the ad and just
Yeah,
copy the
maybe
ad.
that'll reach them.
Well, it's the flyer. I think
Flyer.
Elizabeth Kelly. So the flyer that you wanted, that's 8.5 by 11.
That's my understanding for posting, yes?
Okay, so we could use that also.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Right.
exist yet,
Right.
but I can
Right.
get going on it
Mhm.
and do the same thing we've been doing, circulating for technical comment, and then we
We'd
could.
have to come
approve
up
that.
with printing 4,000. Yeah, that's quite a considerable amount of money.
Because it's 10 to 25 cents a page.
Yeah, is that expense really worth,
Would we get that
worth
many?
it?
I think we should take those surveys and use those addresses of buildings that have already been identified, the 2021 survey addresses.
Now there's an idea.
Because that was the neighborhood windshield surveys.
Right, because they have the addresses in
And
the
we could-
survey.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
could target
that's what we
those.
sent those to already.
Yeah,
gonna
we
say,
sent
isn't that
those
what
out.
you-
That's what we sent those.
Yeah,
So
so
we
the
just sent
postcards
those
have
out.
been sent out to all those people.
Okay, so we just reprint those labels and
You want to
them-
send another one, another version out?
Well, more detailed, the one
Yeah,
that she's
with
gonna
the
get
schedule
flyer
sheet.
with.
With a
No,
sign
it-
sheet.
We could do that again
Okay.
with a schedule.
With the schedule, right.
So it's a flyer with the schedule, is that what we're
Let's
calling
call
it?
that.
Yeah,
Alright,
because this was
flyer
just a
with
save the date.
Right, so that's our second document is a flyer with the schedule, could be used for multiple purposes, yeah?
Wow, good.
And then the other document that we have is the event program that we will produce
Which is that
later.
third one.
And then our emails to our presenters. Ms. Shirley?
And Chris, would you want to?
Is there gonna be any kind of a sign up? I mean, like, are people gonna sign up in advance so that we have some idea of the people? Are they gonna just check about, yes, I'm coming, and send it back, or, I don't know.
No, registration.
Yeah, there needs to be some sort of registration, and that sounds like an online thing.
Okay.
So why don't I ask Anissa how we do an online registration, and it's
Okay,
free,
yeah.
right?
Sounds great.
Okay.
Just gotta be
Alright, let me
some
ask
sort
my
of
clerk.
Or even if
registration.
it's the people replying to the event that was
And then
posted, that they're going,
Yeah.
you know, even if you just put on there, respond to Facebook event.
We'll probably have some walk-ins
I'd
as
love
well.
you if you get the
Oh, yeah,
online
you definitely
registration.
have that.
I'd be able to predict, but.
We have to know for restaurants how many.
What were you talking about before?
One thing we could do is we could have the registration and then anticipate a certain percent of walk-ins. So we could say registration plus 10%, and then that way, when we let the restaurant know the final number, we could,
Add on that.
yeah, it doesn't have to be 10%, whatever y'all think.
Well, the number of lunches is sort of restricted by our budget, right? I mean, so
Right.
we only have so much, and then it's
100
gone.
people.
So
The first 100 that sign up get the lunch. We have to.
That's right. It's limited.
That's the
We have to add ourselves
incentive.
into
You
the
better hurry.
Yeah, we
So
gotta
applies
kind of
us.
figure out how to word that.
Yeah.
Okay, anything
Lunch
else?
provided for the first 100 to register.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we're done for today. Thank
I
you
just had
all.
to, Christian, if she can get that banner person to get us a banner in front of, you wanted to get the banner in front.
Oh, yeah, I
Yeah.
need some banner ideas if we're gonna
You got
present
those?
that to get a free banner.
Free banner, because she knows all the people.
I got
Yeah, to hang in
snacks.
that Bay Area at the Space to Create would be great.
Ah. Is
Thank
that
you
another
all.
graphic asset we need?
Yes.
Oh, she got
Oh, it's
it.
on.
It's on.
I got it in.
Running that
I
up.
use my meditation bell usually, but
Meditation bell.
I don't have that, so I have
I'll
to use
get you a
the
bowl,
gavel.
the meditation bowl.
I will come to the meeting at 3 o'clock today.
I don't know if it is today.
Oh,
We have to call somebody. Let's see if we can call
that's the
Georgia.
problem, they really don't have it.
Yeah, I don't want to say it is and then have to
Yeah.
The
go.
historical thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I even looked on their Facebook and there's nothing on there either.
And they
Yeah,
never get back with
Georgia
me.
usually emails ahead, I think. That's what my limited experience was.
But Thank you
Oh,
for
she did.
keeping that.
Yeah,
going.
she
Girls
emailed.
and boys. Who is
So
the
I do
other?
not think they're having a meeting today.
Okay.
I'll try to call Georgie and ask her, don't you think she would be, if I can get her to answer. I'll text her and I'll text you back. It's called Historic, Trinidad Historic.
Historic
Historic
Preservation
Society.
Society, or Historical
Hey,
Society.
Katie, can you do something nerdy for me?
Thank you for
Thank you, guys.
volunteering. Good night.
When you get your tobacco back. I've had it, I hope it's still good.
American flag.
Yeah, I finally remembered.
Where did Tom go? He left.
He
Just has his taping.
home and just hang out all day.
Okay, okay.
Oh, I got one.
You did?
Do you like that?
What about Jay Gillespie
Perfect.
too for, what about Jay Gillespie? Does
Oh, that would be nice.
He
He's
may
not
be
gonna
gone,
be here.
though.
he do? He's gone the third?
He's gonna be in Alaska.
Yeah.
You're gonna send me Jeremy's thing then, aren't you, or somebody?
guys
wrapped it up? I'll get it. I'll get it for you.
Oh yeah, we actually, too bad, you missed it. We included you in the,
You're in the
the
banner.